You have a clear vision of what you want to achieve in life, but when it comes time to execute, you just can't do it. You know that feeling of having 1,000 brilliant ideas, but zero ability to turn them into reality? If you identify with that, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not broken. Let me tell you a real story. I knew this guy who had the perfect plan to start a company. He spent months designing the business model, creating detailed spreadsheets. He even bought the domains and made the logo. But you know what happened? 3 months later, he was still getting ready to start. His Instagram was full of motivational quotes about entrepreneurship, but the business, zero progress. And I bet you've lived something similar. Maybe it was that fitness project you planned down to the smallest detail, but abandoned in the second week. Or that course you bought to learn a new skill and it is still on your I'll do it when I have time list. The truth is you're not lazy. You have plenty of ambition. The problem is nobody ever taught you the difference between having discipline and building discipline. And that's where most people get it completely wrong. See, we live in this culture that treats discipline like it is some kind of superpower that some people just have and others don't. Like it's genetic or something. Total bullshit. And I'm going to prove it to you right now. But why do some people manage to turn any idea into reality, while others stay eternally trapped in the procrastination cycle? How is it possible that two guys with the same intelligence, same opportunities, and same resources have completely opposite results in life? The answer is going to break everything you believe about discipline and give you a tool I call the 3-pillar system, and in the next few minutes, you'll understand exactly how to apply this to your life. Here's the first reality check. Discipline isn't a characteristic you're born with or without. That's the biggest lie they sold you. It's like saying some people are born knowing how to drive a car. It's a skill, not a talent. When you look at that guy who wakes up at 5 a.m. every day to work out, or that person who never misses a deadline, you think, man, I wish I had that discipline. Wrong. They don't have discipline. They build a system that makes discipline inevitable. And here's what's crazy. Most of these people weren't always like this. I know guys who used to be the laziest people on earth, and now they're running marathons and building million-dollar businesses. What changed? They figured out the system. Look, I used to be one of those guys too. I had notebooks full of plans, goals written everywhere, vision boards on my wall. But when it came to execution, I was a disaster. I'd start strong on Monday, and by Wednesday I was back to scrolling social media for hours. I thought I was broken. I thought successful people were just built different, until I discovered what I'm about to share with you. Neuroscience has already proven this. Studies from Stanford University show that willpower works like a muscle. It gets exhausted during the day. If you're trying to use only willpower to be disciplined, you're fighting a losing battle from the start. It's like trying to lift weights while someone's slowly draining your energy. By 3 p.m., you're done. But here's what nobody tells you. The truly disciplined don't depend on willpower. They created systems that eliminate the need to make difficult decisions all the time. They don't wake up every morning and decide if they're going to work out. The decision was made weeks ago, and the system just runs itself. Think about Elon Musk. You think he wakes up every day and decides whether he is going to work hard or not? Of course not. He built a routine, an identity, and an environment that make hard work automatic. His discipline isn't a heroic effort. It's the result of a well-architected system. And that's exactly what you're going to learn now. You've probably tried to be more disciplined before. Maybe you set New Year's resolutions. Or you had one of those Sunday night motivation sessions where you plan to change your entire life starting Monday. How did that work out for you? Let me guess, you lasted maybe a week, maybe 2 if you were really motivated. Then you fell back into old patterns and felt even worse about yourself. You probably thought, I'm just not disciplined enough, or I don't have what it takes. That's not true. You just had the wrong approach. There's a systematic path to build unshakable discipline, based on what I call the behavioral architecture principle. This isn't some feel-good, motivational crap. This is based on actual research from behavioral psychology and neuroscience. This principle says, you don't need to be a different person to have different results. You need to create a different system. And that changes everything, starting today. You are going to stop trying to be more disciplined and start building discipline through 3 fundamental pillars. First, environment architecture, making the right behavior easier than the wrong one. Second, identity engineering, aligning your actions with who you want to become. Third, momentum systems, creating cycles that feed themselves. These 3 pillars, when applied correctly, will transform discipline from a constant struggle into something that happens naturally. I'm going to show you exactly how. The first pillar is about reverse engineering. Instead of trying to change your behavior through willpower, you're going to change your environment to force the behavior you want. This is probably the most powerful technique I'm going to teach you today. Most people try to fight their environment. They keep junk food in the house but try to eat healthy. They keep their phone next to their bed but try to wake up early. They work from their messy bedroom but try to be productive. It's like trying to swim upstream. Smart people design their environment to work for them, not against them. They understand that your environment is stronger than your willpower every single time. Practical example: you want to wake up early to work out? Don't count on your motivation at 6 a.m. That version of you is weak, tired, and looking for any excuse to stay in bed. Instead, sleep with your workout clothes next to the bed. Put the alarm clock on the other side of the room. Prepare your gym bag the night before. Have a pre-workout ready to drink. When you wake up, the decision was already made by your night self. You just need to follow the flow you created for yourself. The formula is simple. Make easier the behaviors you want. Make harder the behaviors you don't want. Want to stop wasting time on social media? Delete the apps from your phone. Put a complicated password on your Wi-Fi. Install a website blocker on your computer. Make it annoying to access. These distractions. Want to read more? Put books everywhere. Leave one on your nightstand, one in your car, one in your bathroom. Put your phone in another room when you get home. You're literally hacking your own psychology. And it works because you're working with human nature, not against it. Here's another example. I know a guy who wanted to start a side business, but kept getting distracted by TV. Instead of trying to resist the urge to watch TV, he canceled his cable subscription and put his TV in the closet. Guess what happened? He built a 6-figure business in 18 months because he literally had nothing else to do in the evenings. Now let's talk about the second pillar, and this one is going to blow your mind. Here is a truth that is going to change how you think about everything. You always act according to the person you believe you are. Always. No exceptions. If you see yourself as someone who isn't disciplined, you'll unconsciously sabotage any progress to maintain that identity. It's like your brain has a thermostat, and it will always bring you back to what it thinks is normal for you. This is why most people fail at change. They try to change their actions without changing their identity. They try to act like a different person while still believing they're the same person. It creates internal conflict, and your identity always wins. But when you start changing your internal identity, your behaviors change automatically. It's like upgrading your operating system. Everything else just runs better. The magic question is, what would a disciplined person do in this situation? Not how can I be more disciplined, but how would a disciplined person act right now? When you ask this question, something interesting happens. You stop trying to become disciplined and start acting as if you already were. And here's the secret. You become what you consistently practice. Your brain doesn't know the difference between who you are and who you're pretending to be. If you act disciplined long enough, your brain will eventually say, "Oh, I guess we're a disciplined person now," and update your identity accordingly. Practical strategy. Choose one small daily action that a disciplined person would do. Could be making your bed every day, or drinking 2 liters of water, or reading 10 pages of a book. It doesn't matter what it is, as long as it's something a disciplined person would do consistently. Do this religiously for 30 days? Not 29 days, not most days, 30 days straight. No exceptions, no excuses. Every time you do this action, you're voting for the disciplined person identity. Think of it like an election in your brain. Each action is a vote. And when you accumulate enough votes, your identity changes. When your identity changes, more complex behaviors become natural. I've seen this work with hundreds of people. They start with something ridiculously simple like making their bed. And 6 months later, they're running their own business, working out 5 times a week, and reading a book every month, not because they force themselves to, but because that's just what disciplined people do. The third pillar is about creating systems that generate their own energy, like a snowball that gets bigger as it rolls down the mountain. Most people try to make big changes all at once. They have what I call transformation fantasy. They think they're going to wake up on Monday and be a completely different person. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m., work out for 1 hour, meditate for 30 minutes, read for 1 hour. Result? They burn out in a week. The momentum system works differently. You start with something ridiculously small that's impossible to fail. Want to start working out? Day 1. Put on your sneakers. That's it. Don't even leave the house. Day 2. Put on your sneakers and step outside. Day 3. Put on your sneakers, step outside, and walk for 5 minutes. Sounds stupid, perfect. Because the goal isn't the immediate result. The goal is to create the habit of always keeping the promises you make to yourself. This is the foundation of all discipline, being someone who does what they say they are going to do. Each small victory generates confidence. Each confidence generates motivation for the next step. Each next step generates more results. It's a cycle that feeds itself. Here's what's crazy. After about 2 weeks of this, something magical happens. You start wanting to do more. Not because you're forcing yourself, but because momentum feels good. You put on your sneakers and think, well, I'm already dressed. Might as well go for a walk. And here's the most powerful part. After a few weeks doing this, you'll want to do more. Not because of willpower, but because you created momentum. It's like being on a moving walkway that carries you forward. I know a guy who started with just opening a book every day. He didn't even have to read it, just open it. 6 months later, he was reading 50 books a year. Another guy started by just putting on his gym clothes. Now he's in the best shape of his life. The key is understanding that motivation follows action, not the other way around. Most people wait to feel motivated before they act. Disciplined people act first, and motivation follows. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. This system isn't magic. You're going to have bad days. There will be moments when you'll want to give up. There will be weeks when you'll feel like you're not progressing fast enough. And you know what? That's normal and expected. The difference between those who succeed and those who quit isn't the absence of obstacles. It's the response to obstacles. When you fail, and you will fail, the question isn't why am I so weak? The question is how do I get back to the system tomorrow? Because real discipline isn't never failing. Real discipline is getting back to the system even after failing. Think of discipline like building a cathedral. You don't build a cathedral in a day with an explosion of motivation. You build a cathedral by placing one stone at a time, every day, for years. And here's the most beautiful part. Each stone you place, no matter how small, is building something bigger than you. Each discipline action you take isn't just changing your behavior, it is sculpting the person you're really becoming. A year from now, you'll look back and realize it wasn't a magic moment that changed your life. It was hundreds of small moments, small choices, small victories that accumulated into a complete transformation. The compound effect of small actions is incredible. Reading 10 pages a day doesn't seem like much, but it's 3,650 pages a year. That's about 12 books. Doing 10 push-ups a day doesn't seem like much, but it's 3,650 push-ups a year. Most people overestimate what they can do in a day and underestimate what they can do in a year. The 3-pillar system flips that. You're going to do less than you think you can do each day, but more than you ever imagined possible over time. Let me recap the 3 pillars that will transform your relationship with discipline. Pillar 1. Environment architecture. Change your environment to force the right behavior. Make easier what you want to do. Make harder what you don't want. Pillar 2. Identity engineering. Stop trying to be disciplined and start acting like a disciplined person. Ask yourself, what would a disciplined person do? Each action is a vote for the identity you want to build. Pillar 3. Momentum systems. Start ridiculously small and let momentum carry you to bigger achievements. Focus on consistency over intensity. Now comes the most important part of this entire video. You have 2 options. You can close this video, like it, maybe comment very good and continue exactly as you were. or you can take an action that will change the course of your life in the next 30 seconds. Here's what you're going to do right now. Choose one area of your life where you want to be more disciplined. Just one. Could be fitness, work, studies, relationships, whatever. Now apply Pillar 1. Change one thing in your environment today that will make the right behavior easier tomorrow. Want to wake up early? Put the alarm clock away from the bed today. Want to read more? Leave a book open on your table today. Want to work out? Prepare your workout clothes today. Want to eat better? Throw out the junk food today. Want to be more productive? Delete the social media apps from your phone right now. Don't leave it for later. Don't plan to do it next week. Do it today, right now, while you still have the energy from this video. Because discipline isn't about having willpower. It's about creating systems that make willpower relevant. And the best time to start building those systems is right now. And if this video changed your perspective on discipline, share it with someone who's also struggling with procrastination. Because knowledge that isn't applied and shared is just entertainment. See you in the next video. And remember, you don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. You don't need to feel ready. You just need to start right now.